There's a key life principle that we all need to understand, and you've lived it your entire life. It's basically this. Hey, whatever you dislike doing, maybe it was doing homework when you were growing up, you tend to avoid that thing. All right. And vice versa also applies. That thing that you like doing, playing video games, you tend to do that more. Well, here's the problem with this. What if that thing that you dislike doing, homework, well, you were growing up, but let's take it now into business. And since you dislike doing it, you're avoiding doing it. What if that thing is crucial to your success? This is especially important in business because there are many things that you may dislike doing as a solopreneur, as a small business person, whatever it is, that are essential to your success. And not only are they essential to your success, they may be essential to your happiness as a business person. And they may be essential to achieving your dreams in your life and in your business. But I don't like doing it, and so I avoid it. That's a problem. And here's something that's even worse than that is, what if that thing that you dislike and so you avoid doing is something that the better you are at doing it, the better your results are in your business? That's really important because that's even worse of a problem. Because if you dislike doing it, but it's one of those things where the better you are at it, the more success in your business, now you really got a problem. So let's go through a process here. First thing I suggest you do is that you go through and make a list of the things that you really dislike doing in your business. Okay? Probably the bigger things. All right? The things you dislike doing in your business. Then, for each of those items, I suggest you indicate, is it essential to my success in my business? And will improvements in it change my results? We're just going to, for the purpose of the rest of this video, we're going to call those things linked. So it's linked. If the better you get at doing that thing, the better your results are going to be. All right. So here I've done that exercise. All right. So let me give you one example from that list. So I really dislike bookkeeping. You know, putting all the expenses into QuickBooks. I use QuickBooks Online. I like QuickBooks Online because it saves me a bunch of time, but I really dislike doing it. And you know what? As I looked at that, I realized it's not essential. So I don't have to be a great bookkeeper to be successful at my online marketing and online marketing training business. And it is important to be able to see my financial results, but it's not essential. And here's the next piece. Great bookkeeping won't help me sell more. So not only is it not essential, it's also not linked. So because of that, I am totally comfortable outsourcing my bookkeeping to someone else because it's neither essential nor linked to my future. All right. So I really don't have to worry about bookkeeping and its role in my future. But what about this? I saw someone post something about this just a couple of days ago where this person says, I hate list building. And I looked at that and I said, wow, in the business that you're in, yes, it is absolutely essential that you do list building well in the business that you're in. And it is clearly linked. The better you do at it, the better your results. So this is a great example of one of those things that you may not like doing it, but it is essential and linked. And so you need to figure out a way to have this thing still happen and to get great at it as a company. We'll talk about how to solve that problem in just a moment. Let me give you some examples of things for the people who are in the expert business, the business of creating courses, of training, of coaching, of consulting, of speaking, of writing, those kinds of things that are essential and linked. So list building, as I already mentioned, needs to be on that list. Email communications. So doesn't matter if you got a big list, if you only send them an email once every 3 months, you're failed at this process of email communications. Selling. Hey, if you don't like selling, you probably need to get over that in this business. Building relationships with your potential clients and your real clients and customers. Building those relationships so that they trust you, so they're willing to pay a lot of money to have you train and change their life. Presenting and speaking. If you're one of those billions of people in the world who get freaked out at the idea of speaking to somebody in your organization needs to get good at this if you want to succeed. Social media. That's life today. Strategic thinking. What are we going to do? How are we going to do it? What's our future plans? Course creation. If you're in the expert business and you're not creating courses, it's like, wow, you probably ought to get good at this. Coaching. Yeah, you need to be coaching. Even if you're high up, you probably still need to have 5 coaching clients. Peer relationships, so that you are seeing the trends, seeing what everyone else is doing, developing JV relationships with people. You cannot, in the expert space, be an island in and of yourself and not even connect with everybody else. It just doesn't work in this business. All this rolls up into marketing. If you say, I'm not good at marketing, and so I avoid it, that can be a problem. Here's one other area that I think is really important in this, is tech work. You or someone in your organization needs to be good at building the pages, at connecting the things, at putting things into a shopping cart, at making sure that the people in your shopping cart get an email and password to be able to get into, actually access what you're doing. So my question for you is, I just gave you a list of, 8 to 10 things that are on the essential and linked list. The question is, do any of these fall on your I don't like to do this thing list? My guess is there's probably at least one, if not more, things that are on your I don't like to do this list. So what do you do when something that is both essential and linked is on your I don't like to do it list? All right, so let's go through several different aspects. One, you can outsource it. This is what a lot of people do. But here's the challenge, is that you still need to do these things well, even if you outsource them. For example, you cannot outsource marketing. It's not going to work in the expert space. Every time I see somebody try to do it, they will fail. And they keep coming back time after time. I was talking to somebody just a couple of weeks ago who literally had spent probably $500,000 across the last 5 years, continually outsourcing their marketing to 5 different companies. And every company failed. Every company did not give them the results they needed. And they were saying, I don't understand this. And it's like, I do. If their heart's not in it, they're not going to do marketing well, no matter how much they claim that they will do it. Second thing, if you have something that you hate doing that's essential and linked, that's on your I hate doing it list, many times the issue is you just don't have skills in that area. And by getting the skills, you suddenly will become more confident, more desirous of doing it. So if every time you open up your program to create a landing page, to create a landing page, you go, I don't understand this program. That's going to clearly go on your I don't like doing this. And so you're not going to do it very often. But if you fix that by playing with it long enough that you actually learn how to do it, now it's not nearly as daunting of a task. Now it's not nearly as frustrating to get it done, and you'll start wanting to do it more. Next is experience in it. So I'm going to take this one and take this to the concept of speaking and presenting. You know, a lot of people are avoiding speaking and presenting because they're just never done it enough to really get good at it. But when you start doing it a few times, then you start getting good at it, and all kinds of amazing things start to happen, and you become much more comfortable. In fact, many of us who do it a lot find that we love it up there for a lot of reasons. I know some of you are going, that'll never be me. Trust me, you get good at it, it'll be you. So the more you can do in terms of skills and experience to start feeling more comfortable, the more likely these things are going to be things that you'll actually enjoy doing. There's also a mindset shift that oftentimes needs to happen in these areas. My mindset shift goes like this. What would have to change in order for me to be able to want to do that, or at least want to avoid it less? Sometimes that's go get a skill. Sometimes it's hire somebody to come in and teach you how to do it. Sometimes it's outsource it to whatever those things are, and then go change that thing so that now you are more comfortable, you're more desirous of doing it, and you're more likely to do it. Very frankly, these options, so outsourcing, generating skills, generating experience, and changing your mindset, it's probably a combination of all of these that needs to happen for most of these tasks. Now, what you'll probably find is that list of maybe 10 tasks that I gave you, some of those are going to be more outsourced than others. And when I say outsource, I don't necessarily say give it to somebody in the Philippines. It can be give it to somebody who sits right next to you. Outsourcing to me simply means I'm not doing it. Somebody else is doing it, okay? And so if it's off my shoulders, it's outsourced. And so what you may find is that you may find, I'm just never comfortable getting on stage. Okay, I'm going to have somebody in my company whose job it is to get on stage and be the face, the on-stage face of my company. Great. That's a pretty closely to fully outsourced task. It could be that some of them are more or less. So I outsource the process of creating the beautiful sales page, but I'm going to build my own landing pages. Something like that. Different kinds of levels on each one of these things. The key is this. For those projects that are essential and linked, someone has to do them. And not only someone has to do them, someone has to do them really, really well. You need to figure out who that person is. It could be you. It could be somebody that you've given the task to, but somebody has to do that. You cannot just say, oh, we're going to continue on and ignore this thing, because that's not the way it works. It is essential and it is linked. If you want to succeed, you're going to have to do that. So remember, the key thing here is it essential? Is it linked? And so my question for you is this. What holes do you have in your business? And what are you going to do to fill them? This is probably one of the more important questions that you have. You probably have things that you've been ignoring for months, maybe even years, and it just never happens. And so your business is stuck because it never gets done, but it's essential and linked. You need to figure out how to get it done. What's your thoughts? Let me know in the comments. This is Don Crowther saying, just go do this stuff.